Welcome back to another episode of Lineage View. I'm Lineage View and today we're going to be rating some of the best UK fast food restaurants. Let's go. Welcome in guys, hope you had a fantastic weekend. Feels like a long time since I've done this. It's been a week, but it's been a long week, you know? So this is going to be a little bit divisive before we even jump into it, just because some of these class as restaurants, there's others that I haven't included that kind of class as restaurants. Basically, the rule of thumb is, if you've got to wait for the bill to be brought to you at the end of the food, that's not really fast food, that's like dine-in food, you know? You'll see when you see the list that this is fast food, alright? Let's get into it. I'm only including ones that I've been to, so things like Wimpy or Leon, I'm not going to include because I haven't been to them. I'm sure they're great, I'm sure some of them aren't great, but at least I've had first-hand experience in all of these many times. So as you see here, we have a collection of UK restaurants or fast food places, and again, just to clarify, I'm not saying that these are from the UK, I'm just saying this is what we have in the UK. Most of these are American anyway. So, let's start off with Papa John's. Okay, so there was a point in my life where I really enjoyed Papa John's, to be honest. And for some reason, it just stopped tasting nice. It's progressively got worse and worse since, and I have to say, the garlic dip is absolutely rancid. I cannot stand it, and that's like their bread and butter sauce. Nah, not a fan, Papa John's, I'm gonna say E. You know what it is? I would not order from Papa John's. If you gave me a free voucher to eat there, I would not eat there. I would firstly ask for something else, or I would order that food to give to someone else. I wouldn't have it for myself because I simply really just don't like it. Okay. Next is Subway. I kind of have a weird relationship with Subway. So Subway is a really weird one. Back home when I started sort of venturing out a little bit further than my immediate town, which didn't have a Subway at the time, I've discovered Subway and I thought this is really cool, you know, really popular brand. And then I realised that every single sandwich tastes exactly the same. And I don't know, it's just not the vibe for me. To be honest, I enjoy a Subway from time to time. I will go and get it, despite how expensive it is. I will go and I'll still eat it from time to time. So with that being said, I'm gonna put Subway at a C, I want to say, because I will still eat it. To be honest, if someone offered me a free Subway, I'd be like, okay, I'll take that. You know, unlike Papa John's, I will eat a Subway. So next we have McDonald's, the Kings. I feel like you're lying to yourself if McDonald's isn't S tier. Alright. I think McDonald's is S tier. You gotta give it to McDonald's. Every time you go into the restaurants, they always smell the same. They always look and feel the same. They're always clean. And yeah, there's times on a night out where it's 3 in the morning and it's not clean, but it's also a night out at 3 in the morning. I mean, why are you critiquing the hygiene standards when you have sick on your shirt? You know, either way. The food is always incredibly consistent. If you go in for a quarter pounder, just thinking about it, you already know what that tastes like. And you know that's what you're gonna get, you know? And if it's not cooked right, go and speak to them. They'll give you one that does taste right, you know? They nail it every single time. It's a tough one for me because I remember back in the day, when I was quite little, we had a much larger menu in the UK, and then there was loads of regulations. Super Size Me came out, and then loads of things were removed from the menu, and it was very dumbed down. It was very restricted, which is the case with pretty much anything in the UK. It's very scrutinized and minimal, and take out this amount of sugar, whatever. So every now and again we'll get something really extravagant that comes from the American menus, like the McRib, which came back years ago for a short period of time. It was really cool to see. I still think the menu is pretty limited. Most of the promotional stuff tends to just be pre-existing meat from other sandwiches put onto a different bun with different dressing, and then that's kind of it. Anyway, McDonald's, still insane. Next is Domino's. Now let's just get it out there now. Everybody knows this is expensive. Everybody knows this is probably the most expensive one by far on this list, I would say. The trap is that they always have offers to reduce the prices, but you end up still spending £20 for 2 pizzas, which is a lot, to be fair. They do a student discount offer of 30% off, but that's only for the pizzas itself, and no one really tends to buy just the pizza on its own, because people tend to buy the offers because it's better value. But besides that, okay, the pizzas themselves, there is something very suspicious about them, and they always come cooked exactly the same, but they always seem to be undercooked. Really, really weird. I've heard many stories from lots of friends that have worked there that the hygiene is crazy bad in Domino's, in the UK at least, because every time I go there I always feel sick the next day or the day after. And you may ask, why do you continue to buy it even though you feel sick the next day? Well, because a lot of the time I didn't really realise that it was the Domino's, and then I figured it out. Previously I would have highly regarded Domino's, but they're gonna go D for me. You know what, Domino's is going E. It's going E as well. Papa John's is going F. See ya. Domino's is E. Next is KFC. Right. When it's good, it's absolutely fantastic. However, the biggest problem with KFC is, I mean, it's expensive. It's, I would say, more expensive than McDonald's for a meal-to-meal like comparison, which it is what it is. I mean, no one is forcing you to go to these places. I'm just saying as a comparison. The biggest issue I have is you never know how consistent your food's going to be. You know, you'll go into one restaurant and it'll be absolutely fantastic, you know, and then you'll go into another one and everything will be freezing cold, or it'll be soggy, and it's like it's cooked differently, and it's just, sometimes it just doesn't hit. But you always pay the same amount, but it's never consistent, so it's almost more of a gamble. It's a very difficult one. It's very difficult. It's kind of on the line between A and B. I mean, I think it has to be an A, because when it's good, it's fantastic. It's really, really good. Their sauces, like the sweet chili sauce and the spicy mayo sauces, are unparalleled. Next is Greggs. Greggs is also, I mean, being someone in the north of England, like, people are very patriotic about Greggs. I don't know if it's the same down south, but I'm pretty sure it is. Everyone loves Greggs. Anyone who's not familiar, Greggs sells pasties. Pasties are pastries with filling in the UK. I don't know how popular it is outside. I know it's a very UK thing. Anyway, Greggs is probably the most popular pasty place in the UK, right? And it's really good. Greggs is really good. The issue is the prices of Greggs have kind of gone a little bit ridiculous over the last couple of years, where it's almost like 50-60% more than it used to be, say 6-7 years ago. And I know that sounds like a proper boomer comment to make, but it's just the truth of the matter. You walk in and it's like £1.50 for a chicken bake, and that's like £1.50. You know, there used to be a point where it was £1 and that was all you paid. The difficulty sometimes with these places, especially Greggs, is you can only really go in at certain times. Like, they're open through most of the day. However, if you don't go there around lunchtime, you're going to get a cold pasty, and most of the time they don't let you swap it, because it is what it is. Then they usually give you the guilt trip of food waste. It's like, but you sold me a cold pasty. It's like, yeah, but you don't want to waste food, do you? I'm like, you sold me a cold pasty under a heat counter. If it's cold under a heat counter, how long has this thing been here? Anyway, that's the problem. I think that's one of those like unspoken rules that I think every British person just knows. You only order a pasty around lunchtime. Anything after 2 o'clock and it's like, nah, you're going to get a cold pasty, bro. It's not worth it. I'm going to put Greggs at a B for those reasons. Next, let's talk about Pound Bakery. Yeah, Pound Bakery. You see these quite a lot, not as much as Greggs. There is Greggs absolutely everywhere, but Pound Bakeries, you know, they're not as common. So what is it? It's 2 pasties for £1. Yes. My issue before with Greggs, that you pay £1.50 for a chicken bake. In Pound Bakery, you can get 2 for £1, which is massive. People always say, you know, that the size of them has gone smaller, but even still, those 2 pasties are much bigger together than 1 pasty from Greggs, and it is much cheaper. The nice thing as well is you can get a variety. I mean, my go-to, so I'll get a chicken bake, and I'll also, this is a controversial one, but I'll get a sausage, bean and cheese melt, because they are fantastic, and I will fight anyone that says otherwise. Just, if you haven't tried them, don't criticize them, just try it. It's great. It's amazing. Pound Bakery, absolute king. You know what it is? Sometimes I'm in town, and everyone else will have experienced this. Sometimes you go to town to pick some stuff up, but you're hungry. You know, you're on your own and you just want to go to town, get some stuff done and come back, right? You don't want an extravagant meal. You don't want to have to wait in long queues at other places like McDonald's or KFC. You don't have to sit at a table on your own. Sometimes it's just like, I just want to grab something quick, eat it, it's cheap, and then be done with it. Pound Bakery and Greg's, to be fair, are both those places, you know? Like, sometimes I'll go and get a Pound Bakery and I'll love it so much because I'll be like, you know what, that was quick, it was cheap, it was really nice. I sat at the park to go and eat it on a bench, and then I went away and just finished my day off, you know? Amazing. Pound Bakery, for what it is, I can't really fault it. I'm gonna go S tier. And I never thought I'd do that. I really didn't think that was going to happen, but you know what, we're here. And it deserves it. Absolutely does, you know? So next is Five Guys. This is the only one that almost didn't make it onto the list. It's kind of in the middle, because it's not like sit down table service. But the amount of time that it takes, it is hard to call it fast food, because you do have to wait like 10 to 15 minutes, usually. Like 10 minutes for it to be done, maybe a little bit longer. Depends on if it's busy or not. But it's like, it's not what I would call fast food. With Pound Bakery, obviously it's different, but you are in and out within like a minute or two. McDonald's, again, you'll have your food within 5 minutes of ordering. You know, like, it's fast. Whereas Five Guys is considerably longer. However, Five Guys is absolutely fantastic. And again, I find them to be quite consistent with their service. You know, you go in and it's pretty much always the same. I say pretty much because there has been times where I've not had good experiences. I've had friends that have had bad experiences in there too. The thing is, whenever it comes to McDonald's, sometimes if you pay 5-6 quid and the meal isn't that good, which is not often because McDonald's is always consistent, but if that was to happen and you didn't complain about it and you just left having a bad experience, it is what it is. With Five Guys, you pay more than double than you would for McDonald's. That can really affect people's outlook on the service as a whole, because it's not like 6 quid for a meal, it's like 13, 14, you know? What I will say, their fries are second to none. I don't think anyone's fries are better than Five Guys. They are fantastic. The burgers, I love that you can customize them with whatever you want on them. It's kind of an experience, you know, because it's like, what should I go for this time, you know? Mine is always grilled onions, pickles, mustard, ketchup, and that's it. Obviously a burger and cheese with all that other stuff on top. And then the fries is ridiculous because they give you like a cup of fries, they put them in, but then they shovel a whole another bunch of fries in. Like, you will not leave this place hungry. You know, if you ordered food, of course. It's really expensive, but the food is really good. In some of the stores I've been to, they give you peanuts while you wait, you know, like monkey nuts, which is really good. In fact, that's a really enticing thing for me. I love the fact that you can eat nuts while you wait. I love the fact that you can get your own pots of ketchup and mayonnaise. You know, you don't have to ask, and then they give you 2 little sauces. You know, you don't want to have to be cheeky and ask for more. You can just pour as much as you want. They have refillable drinks, which is fantastic too, because you can pretty much finish your meal, then you'll go and fill up the drink again, and you'll have a full drink to drink for the rest of the day or whenever. You know, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Five Guys is fantastic. I will say it because it's so manic, somewhat frequently, your order does get missed out, and that's happened to me maybe 4 or 5 times in maybe the 15 to 20 times I've been. So, I mean, that's kind of a high number. It's like a quarter of the times I've been. So it's like, that does happen. And I would say generally, compared to most of these places, Five Guys is usually one of the dirtier places. Most of the time, the tables are dirty and you have to clean them yourself with a napkin or whatever. Again, it's just my experience. Maybe 15 to 20 times, you know, it's not just like a one-off. This is somewhat consistent. I will say the music is fantastic in there as well. Possibly the best music out of all of them, you know, like just when you're in there, the music is great, you know. Five Guys, I'm gonna go A, you know. The food's really good. The food is really good, to be fair. Next is Taco Bell, you know. So Taco Bell is an interesting one because I've only been there a few times. They recently, I say recently, a few years ago, introduced one into Leeds, and it was huge. I was there on day one as soon as it opened because I'd been to it once before in Manchester when they opened it there as well, and that was crazy. The thing is, and this isn't necessarily with Taco Bell, it's more generally with this style of food, generally with Mexican food, is it's a lot messier. It's very difficult to eat it because I get it on my face. I'd say I'm quite a clean eater, but sometimes it's unavoidable when you've got a wrap that's open on both ends and it's hard to maneuver. Okay, it just happens. You get it on your hands, and whilst it's really nice, and it is quite cheap to be honest for most of the stuff that you can get, it is super messy. It's a difficult situation when I can eat a Taco Bell. I don't know if they do deliveries or not. That would be perfect for me because it means I can just sort of chill out and just eat it at home and be messy. But so Taco Bell, that is a hard one. That is a really hard one, to be honest. Like, it doesn't blow me away like Five Guys and KFC does. It satisfies me in the same way that a Greg's would. Yeah, let's put it B tier, you know? I think that deserves B tier. Okay, next we have Pret a Manger. Even just saying the name just reeks of pretentiousness. Okay, so whenever it comes to expensive food, if it's expensive but it's worthwhile and it's nice and the service is good, I'm absolutely happy to pay for it. Which is why I enjoy Five Guys, because Five Guys is expensive, but it's worth what you pay, okay? So I've had a lot of Pret a Manger in my time, and I think everything about it, from the minute you walk into the door to the second you leave, just irks of pretentiousness, and I really don't vibe with it at all, to be honest. If you compare that to something like Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose, whilst yes, there's a big stigma, you know, it's funny, it's kind of a meme because it's like, yeah, it's not just a potato, it's a M&S potato, you know? It's not like that, because at least M&S back it up, their food, for their own stuff that they make, you know, like their signature stuff. There is a quality difference a lot of the time, you know, and it's hard to dispute that. Whereas with Pret, it's, you go in and, you know, everyone is basking in the fact that they're living this sort of pretentious middle class illusion inside of a shop which is right next to Poundland. You go in and you pick up a sandwich from the fridge on the right, and it's a sandwich that's been sat there for hours, and it costs £4 for a baguette that is rock hard, and it's got barely any toppings, and the toppings look like they are so dehydrated. It looks like those scenes on SpongeBob, you know, where it goes above the surface. It's grim, it's awful, right? You feel like you're about to lose every single one of your teeth when you bite into them. Now, this is not a one-off experience. This is over many times that I've been, just because sometimes it's the popular place to go and you don't want to be the guy going against the mainstream when the suggestion is to go to Pret. Okay, on a personal note, they do attempt to do things that are very trendy, so you see a lot of vegan-friendly dishes or options, which is very cool. That makes sense why people would want to go there for that, because there isn't, I mean, nowadays it's definitely better, but there's still a lack of vegan and vegetarian options, I think, for most places. For example, in Tesco's, the meal deal selection is still probably 70-30 meat-related stuff. I just think the whole place is really too pretentious for me, and the food just isn't tasty. You know, like if you did a blind taste test, this I'm sure would be at the bottom of every list compared to all the competitors. I think people tend to go there more because of how it looks, more than actually how it is, and if they want to spend that money, let them do it. But Pret's also going in F. See ya. And lastly is Burger King. And I had a Burger King today for the first time in a long time. Burger King food is actually really good. I really like Burger King food, to be fair. My biggest issue is, I would say, their direct competitor is McDonald's, and they get outranked in every single aspect compared to McDonald's. It's true, they just cannot stand next to McDonald's at all. So first thing, I will say their chips are fantastic. They're not better than McDonald's, but they're different, you know, so it's not necessarily a direct comparison. I think they're really good. Their sauces are really good. The sweet chili, for example, is proper Heinz, so it's nice. Their burgers, I think, are really good. The problem is, it's way more expensive than McDonald's if you look at a meal for meal value, and their burgers are absolutely tiny. Like, they are tiny. Something weird happened a few years ago where they used to sell on a bus ticket, like a bus voucher, on the back of it there was a £1.99 voucher. You'd get chips and you get a double bacon cheeseburger. And now those bacon cheeseburgers, double bacon cheeseburgers, are like, for a small burger that used to be in a £1.99 voucher, the amount I used to go into Burger King when I first moved to Leeds was incredible. It was crazy. It was ridiculous, actually. I just can never justify spending £4, £5, £6, however much it is, on a burger that I know used to be £2 with chips. You know, I do really enjoy the food though. I don't think they actually have a student discount, or at least not a fixed one. I've seen it from time to time. Usually whenever it comes to September, January and April, that's when the student loan comes in for most people. So these companies do the biggest discounts of those times to be extra predatory. I mean, you know, offer the best deals to their customers, you know? And Burger King is the same. They do that often. They're not doing it this time, I assume post-pandemic, but either way. Again, it's a difficult one. The restaurants are clean, the food is consistent, it tastes really good. The problem is the portions are crazy for what you pay. If you're down to pay more for it, then it's fine. If you're paying £6, you should be leaving the restaurant full. You shouldn't be like, I want more, you know? It sounds very petty. But this whole list is petty. We're ranking United Kingdom fast food places. I mean, just ain't the place for non-petty comments. Right, we're going to go B. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair comment, you know? I really do like Burger King, to be fair. It is really good. If I can get £1.99 vouchers, I will absolutely be going more often. But that's very conditional for me going to a restaurant. Like, today's the first day in a very long time that I've paid non-voucher prices, just because it's so off-putting, you know? Alas, dudes, I had a really good time making this, actually. I kind of want to rank some other UK stuff. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you like more content like this, make sure to leave a suggestion down below, because I'm constantly running out of ideas. Your ideas can help me make more videos like this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I shall see you next time. Enjoy some outro music.